7 signs that you are a fragment of Sophia, and nobody has ever told you. If you recognize 5 of these in yourself, you are. You are not depressed. You are not anxious. You are displaced, and there is a reason for that. Here are the 7. Count how many you have. Before we even begin, I need you to understand something. What you are about to hear is not metaphor. It is not poetry designed to make you feel special. In 1945, in Upper Egypt, near the town of Hammadi, a farmer stumbled upon a sealed clay jar buried in the earth. Inside that jar were 13 leather-bound codices containing over 50 texts that had been deliberately hidden around the 4th century to protect them from destruction by the Roman Church. Among those texts were manuscripts that described a specific type of human consciousness that was never supposed to be trapped in this material realm. The texts call it the spermates, Sophias, the seed of Sophia, the divine feminine wisdom that fell from the highest realm of existence, the pleroma, into the dense prison of matter. And according to those manuscripts, that seed did not dissolve when Sophia fell. It shattered. It scattered into countless fragments. And those fragments embedded themselves into human bodies across time, carrying within them a residual code, an unmistakable set of characteristics that would identify them across all generations regardless of culture, religion, or era. Those characteristics are what I am about to describe. They are specific, recognizable, experiential markers. You either have them or you do not. And if you have 5 or more of them, what that means about your identity will fundamentally alter how you understand every difficult experience you have ever had. That is the first sign. Sign number 1. The alienation that has no source. You have felt it since you were a child. It is not loneliness. Loneliness is the absence of connection with others. What you feel is categorically different. It is the presence of a disconnection that has no object. You can be surrounded by people who love you, sitting at a table with your family during a celebration, laughing at the right moments, saying the right things. And underneath all of it, there is a layer of glass between you and the world, an invisible membrane that keeps you observing rather than fully participating. You could never articulate this to anyone because the words do not exist in ordinary language. Therapists called it social anxiety. Teachers said you were too sensitive, too much in your own head. But none of those labels ever felt accurate because they described the symptom while completely missing the cause. The Gospel of Philip, one of the recovered Nag Hammadi codices, uses a phrase that scholars translate roughly as those who are in the world but not woven from its fabric. Not woven from its fabric. When you encounter that phrase, something happens in your chest, a recognition that bypasses the intellect entirely. Because you have always known in the deepest chamber of your awareness that your alienation is not a malfunction, it is a signal. It is the fragment recognizing that it is surrounded by a reality that was not built from the same substance it carries within. And the second sign runs even deeper and is far harder to explain. Sign number 2. The memory of somewhere else. You have experienced a specific kind of nostalgia that defies every rational explanation. A longing for a place you have never physically visited. A homesickness that has no geographical address. It sometimes arrives in dreams, vivid and overwhelming, where you find yourself in a landscape of light that feels more real than waking life. Sometimes it comes without warning in ordinary moments, when you see a particular quality of light at dusk, or hear a specific harmonic frequency in music, or stand in silence under a vast open sky, and suddenly your eyes fill with tears for no reason you can identify. The Apocryphon of John, one of the most important texts recovered from Nag Hammadi, describes Sophia's descent from the pleroma as a fall through successive layers of density, each one dimmer and heavier than the last, until she arrived in a realm of limitation, forgetting, and false authority. But the text makes a critical point that most scholars overlook. Sophia's fragments carried a residual imprint of the pleroma's frequency, an echo of the place they originated from that could never be fully erased, regardless of how many layers of forgetting were imposed upon them. That echo is exactly what you experience at 3 in the morning when the noise of the world finally quiets and something deep inside you whispers with absolute certainty, "This is not home." You have been dismissing that whisper your entire life. What if it was the most honest perception you have ever had? And what you're about to hear has never been said this directly in a public video. For those who want the full private transmission, it's in the pinned comment. But stay with me now, because this changes everything. And what you are about to hear in this video has never been organized this directly in a public space before. For those who want the full private transmission with all 7 signs explained at their deepest level and the complete activation techniques, it is in the pinned comment. But stay with me now, because the next 5 signs are where everything changes. But here is where it becomes undeniable, because those 2 signs alone could theoretically be explained by psychology. The clinical establishment has convenient labels for both, but the 3rd sign has no clinical equivalent. And when I describe it, you will know within seconds whether you carry it inside you or not. Bloco 1, 5,195 characters. Bloco 2, sign number 3, the knowledge you never learned. There are things you know that you were never taught, not facts, not academic information, not trivia you absorb from books or conversations, something fundamentally different. You understand patterns in human behavior with a precision that startles people around you. You perceive the real intention behind someone's words before the sentence reaches its conclusion. You sometimes articulate truths in conversation, observations about existence, about suffering, about the hidden mechanics of human motivation, and then pause afterward wondering where that came from, because it did not feel like your own thought. It felt like something moving through you. This is not intuition the way modern self-help culture defines it. The Pistis Sophia, one of the most detailed and extensive Gnostic manuscripts ever discovered, describes a specific cognitive function of the divine spark that it calls gnosis endiathethos, an inward knowing that does not arrive through external learning but through internal remembering. The manuscript explains that Sophia, before her fragmentation, encoded a portion of her own accumulated wisdom directly into the structure of each seed, so that even in conditions of total spiritual amnesia, even in lifetimes of maximum density and forgetting, the fragments would still possess the ability to recognize truth without anyone teaching it to them. You were never formally trained to read people the way you read them. Nobody sat you down and taught you to sense deception before it reveals itself. No course gave you the understanding of suffering that you carry so naturally that people seek you out for guidance without knowing exactly why they trust you. That knowledge was pre-installed. And every time someone told you, "You are wise beyond your years," or "How do you know these things?" they were speaking more literally than either of you understood at the time. But there is a sign that runs deeper still, and this one has cost you enormously in practical terms. Sign number 4, the instinctive rejection of false systems. You have never been able to fully surrender to hierarchies that feel artificial. School systems that rewarded obedience and conformity over genuine understanding and curiosity. Corporate structures built on dominance, rituals, and meaningless performance metrics. Religious institutions that demanded unquestioning belief while offering no direct experience of the sacred. Political structures that promised liberation while engineering dependency. Something inside you recoiled from all of them, not from a place of teenage rebellion or contrarian personality, from a place of deep, visceral, almost cellular recognition. You recognized the architecture of control. You could feel it in your body when someone was wielding authority that was not earned but manufactured. The hypostasis of the archons, another critical Nag Hammadi manuscript, describes in vivid terms how the rulers of this material realm, the archons, established layered systems of obedience and conformity specifically designed to keep Sophia's scattered fragments in a state of amnesia, shame cycles that punish self-trust, reward structures that condition the fragments to seek external validation instead of internal knowing, social frameworks that pathologize anyone who questions the fundamental premises of the constructed reality. The text is explicit. The fragments would instinctively resist these systems, not because they are psychologically difficult or socially maladjusted, but because their internal frequency is fundamentally incompatible with architectures built to suppress exactly what they carry. And this is the hidden reason your life has felt harder than it seems to be for everyone around you. You were not failing to adapt to society. You were refusing, at the deepest possible level of your being, to forget what you are. Have you noticed something? The moments in your life when you felt most authentically alive, most connected to something real and true, were the exact moments you stopped following the script that everyone else follows without question. That alignment is not coincidence. That is Sophia's code activating in real time. And the next two signs will reveal precisely how that code operates within your nervous system and within your perception of the invisible architecture of reality itself. Before we continue, I need you to do something right now. Count. How many of these signs have you recognized in yourself so far? 2, 3, all 4? Because here is what the manuscripts actually say about the threshold. If you carry 5 or more of these markers, you are not merely a spiritual seeker. You are not someone casually interested in esoteric topics. You are a direct pneumatic fragment of Sophia herself. And what that identification means for your actual lived experience, your relationships, your physical health, your recurring sense of purposelessness, is something that has been deliberately excluded from every mainstream spiritual teaching for over 17 centuries. And I need to pause here for a moment, because what I just described, that exact feeling of recognition, is the reason the Sophia Codex exists. It's a private audio transmission where I go into what cannot be said openly here. The sacred symbols, the hidden frequencies, the techniques that these public videos can only point toward. If you already feel it, you already know. Pinned comment or scan the QR code on screen. Now let me take you even deeper, because the next piece of this is something almost no one talks about. That exact feeling, that chill moving through your body right now as you counted your signs, that recognition that is not intellectual but cellular and immediate. That is precisely what the ancient teachers called anamnesis, the sacred remembering. If you want the complete map of what this identification means for your specific life path and the full activation protocol that Sophia's fragments have used across every Gnostic lineage for 2,000 years, everything is inside the Sophia's Awakening protocol. The link is in the pinned comment and the description below this video. Now let me take you even deeper, because sign number 5 changes how you experience every room you walk into for the rest of your life. Bloco 2, 5,117 characters. Bloco 3, sign number 5, the energetic sensitivity that nobody ever validated. You walk into a room and you already know. Before a single word is spoken, before any visible event occurs, you feel it. The unspoken tension between two people sitting at opposite ends of a table, the grief that someone is hiding behind a well-practiced smile, the danger radiating from a space that appears perfectly safe to everyone else present. You have been doing this since you were a child, and you learned very early to stop mentioning it, because every time you tried to describe what you were perceiving, someone told you that you were imagining things, that you were being dramatic, that you needed to stop overthinking. But you were not imagining anything. The tripartite tractate, another manuscript recovered from the Nag Hammadi collection, describes the pneumatic fragments as carrying a specific perceptual capacity that the text calls aesthesis pneumatique, a spiritual sensitivity that operates beneath and beyond the 5 ordinary physical senses. This is not empathy as modern psychology defines it. Empathy is the ability to feel what another person feels through mirroring. What you experience is categorically different. You do not merely feel other people's emotions. You perceive the entire energetic architecture of a given space. You read the frequency of a room the way a musician reads the tuning of an instrument, detecting dissonance and harmony at a level that has no vocabulary in ordinary language. And this is the real reason why crowded places exhaust you, not because you are introverted, because your perceptual system is processing an enormous field of invisible information that most people around you cannot detect and therefore cannot even conceptualize. When someone has told you you are too sensitive,